This is a complete guide on how to do local SEO for landscaping service businesses. If you're a hardscaper, do lawn care, anything landscaping related, this is how you do it. So let's dive right into it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Munir Al Safi. I am the co-founder of the Ipso Studio. We do local SEO and Google Ads here, and we spent countless hours doing local SEO for our clients, and this is basically our entire process. We've probably generated over $12 million for our clients over the past 2 years. And this is the exact process we do for the landscaping industry. We've worked with landscapers right here. We've worked with home modelers. We worked with HVAC. And I'm going to show you the specific one for landscapers. So let's get right into it. So to make this as easy as possible to follow, I'm going to use this example. So there's a landscaping company called Desert Tree Landscaping. They're based in Las Vegas. And I'm going to tell you what I would do in their position to improve their SEO, so that way you can follow along with me. So here they are. This is their Google business profile. If you search for landscaping Las Vegas, they're on like the 5th page or something, so they don't really show very high at all. And this is Local Dominator. This is a tool that we use to basically see how people rank on Google Maps. And if you look at this right now, they don't rank on Google Maps at all. So this is the Las Vegas map, and Google Maps is a proximity based. So depending on where you're searching, as a business may show up higher or lower based on where you're searching from due to addresses. Like usually there's an address tied to a Google business profile. So whenever anyone searches for landscaping services near me, they do not show up in the top 20. So they're basically not being shown at all, which is a problem. So we're going to tell you how to fix that. So let's do it. So there's basically 4 steps on how to do this. The first one is we need to optimize the Google business profile. This is how they show up higher on Google Maps. Then we need to plan out all the pages and keywords that we need to put on the website itself. Then we need to create optimized content for each page identified here. And then we need to get some backlinks. So let's do it. So if you don't know, a Google business profile is basically a Google Map profile. So if I search for landscaping Las Vegas, you're going to see these are all Google business profiles here. So you have to open up your own profile. This is how you do it. You just search for Google business profile, or you click on this link, and then you can open up your own Google business profile. So here's a few things that you should do as you open up, or if you've already opened it up, these are some settings that you should do. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to add a physical address to your Google business profile. So if you've already made one, or if you're making one, it's going to give you the option to add a physical location, or it gives you the option to do a service area based location. You always want to pick the physical location. And that's because Google trusts businesses that have a physical location in the area that they serve. So if their address of your company is closer to the central of Las Vegas, then you are more likely to show up on the Google Maps for Las Vegas related results. And I know this because if I search for landscaping Las Vegas, look, this company has an address right there. This company has an address right there. Address. Even if I click on more businesses and I just go through this entire thing, you're going to see they all have an address somewhere in Las Vegas. And the address is wherever that pinpoint is. So you see they have an address. So to verify your address, Google is likely going to do one of 3 things. They may approve your listing with no verification process. This will happen if your Google business profile has existed for a long time, or there's maybe not a lot of competition in your area. Sometimes this happens. What they used to do, which doesn't happen as that often, is they'll send out a physical mail to that address with a code. And then if you input that code, then your thing will be verified. Or what's happening more recently, especially if there's any slight competition in your area, is they will ask you for a video of you physically at that location, showing proof that you operate there with equipment, business cards, merch, and everything else. So in most areas now it's getting competitive, so you need to do this verification method. So this is super important because Google will use the customer's location and prioritize companies that have an address near that customer. That means if your Google business profile is near the west end of the city, Google is more likely to show your business to users on that side of the city. But if your address is central to Las Vegas, then you are more likely to show up for people searching Las Vegas landscaping company, right? So in my case, I'm based in Ottawa. And if I search landscaping Ottawa, I'm located in the west right here. So you're going to see it's going to prioritize companies that are big, but also near the west end side. And then if I press on more businesses, you're going to see that it's all near the west, central and west. And if I zoom in, it's going to prioritize people near the west. And if I search like landscaping company near me, it's even more the case. It's all, so there's a VPN right now, but these are all people that would be near me. All right, so some people like start to freak out and they're like, oh, I need to buy a huge office. You don't need to. You can just rent out a small office or co-working space and then do the verification. Some people do the verification and then they stop, like they sign up for a month-to-month plan at a co-working space, and then after that month-to-month, they just stop once it's verified. They'll usually ask you for physical signage to prove that you operate from there. So you can get a sticker of your company logo, put it on the outside of the office to just prove that you operate from there. So Desert Tree Landscape, this is the example I told you. They don't have a verified address on their Google business profile, and that's actually preventing them from getting 20 to 50 leads per month. So that is the first thing that they should figure out. What address am I going to use and how can I verify it as soon as possible? So now that that's taken care of, the next thing that you need to do is you need to fix your primary business category. So this basically tells Google what your business does, and your primary category has a lot more influence than almost anything else. So this is what it looks like when you search the name of your company and you manage the Google business profile. And then if you go to edit profile right here, you'll see business category. So you can change this primary business category, right? So there's almost 4,000 categories on Google. So you need to be very careful of which one that you pick. And the best way to do it is to just look at your competitors and see what the top ranking companies are using for their categories and then just copy them. So if I search landscaping company Las Vegas, you're going to see that most of them have landscaper as their primary category. It says it right there, landscaper, landscaper, landscaper. And if I press on more businesses, you see they are all landscaper. This person has a landscape designer, so they're a bit lower for the keyword landscaping company, right? This person has landscape architect, which is why they're lower. They may show up higher for landscape architect, but there's less people searching for landscape architect than just landscaping company, right? Cool. So if I'm just a general landscaping company, then I would set it to be just landscaper, and they got this one correct. So then we are talking about keywords in the business name. So this is the actual name of your business on Google. If you have your main keyword in your business name, you are more likely to show up. So what I mean is this is your actual business name. If you are able to put here what you actually do, so in this case, this is a mobile tire changing company. If I can say mobile tire service as well as the name of the company, this will help me show up much higher whenever someone searches for mobile tire service. And I know this is true because whenever I search for landscaping Las Vegas, you're going to notice that the top companies have either landscaping in their name or Las Vegas in their name, or both. And the both usually have even higher leverage. So this company, Landscapes Las Vegas, they have both in their name and they show up first. No surprise, and they have a lot of reviews. This company has just landscapes, a landscape, Las Vegas. This one, they have hardscapes, but you see they don't show up as high. And you see all these guys don't have any. There's less people that have mention of landscape and Las Vegas. So if you can add the name of your service, is good. You can add both service and city. It just makes it a bit more prone to being changed by Google. Some people go on the safe side and just add city. It's usually safer to just add the name of the service in your business name. Some people can add both. You can try it, but adding just a service is the more safe option. So once you change it, it may get approved, but then it could later get denied or just fixed automatically by Google's team. The only way to dispute this and have this long term is if you get a doing business as, it's called a DBA. So if I search DBA Nevada, if I'm operating from the state of Nevada, you can get a DBA from your county, and you can just in the DBA put the name that you want on the Google business profile. So if I was Desert Tree Landscape, I would say my DBA is Desert Tree Landscape dash landscaping Las Vegas. So that way, if I provide this to Google, there is undisputable proof that this is actually my business name, so they can't actually change it back to just Desert Tree Landscape. All right, then focus on Google reviews. So the higher your rating is on Google and the more reviews you get, the better that you will perform on Google Maps. It's no surprise that the businesses with higher ratings are near the top. So if I go back here to landscape in Las Vegas, there's no surprise that this company with 1,100 reviews is on top. And then it's a bit lower and lower and lower as I go down and down and down. So even if you rank second or fourth, if you have more reviews, you will still get more clicks just because you look more trustworthy. So people, when they scroll through this list, they may see that this company has 54 reviews, but they may not trust it just because the person above it and the person below it has much more reviews. So they may call this one, and if this person doesn't answer, their partner called this one next, just because they have the next most amount of reviews, even though they're third. So just having a lot of reviews always benefits you, right? So, and especially for landscaping jobs, people just want to make sure that the job gets done properly. And showing that you have many reviews is just showing that you have proof for that. So the way to get more reviews is to just simply ask happy customers to leave reviews that mention specific services and locations. So you can say they did an amazing job, fixing my lawn, highly recommend their services. And your job is to respond to every review, good or bad. You want to thank customers for the positive replies or for the positive reviews, and professionally handle negative ones. You never want to leave the negative one just sitting there on its own. And it's best if you mention what you did for them in the Google review as well. You always want to just give Google more context of what you did and where. And if your customers can also add an image of your work as well, Google loves images in Google reviews. So if you can have them add that as well, it goes a long way. And then you want to add a optimized business description. So this is like next on the priority list. So your business description just tells Google and potential customers what you do and where you operate. And you want to add your main keywords in this description. And the main keywords is just all the services that you offer and the locations. So if I go back to the landscaping Las Vegas, if I go here and I go into this, so you're going to see they write down here all the areas that they do. And then they also mention all the services that they do. Again, it's no surprise that he does this and he's ranking number one. We need to just basically replicate what the top guys are doing. So we need to do this. All right. Then the last thing is adding photos. So it's not a huge ranking factor, but you need to pay serious attention to the photos that you're using for your landscaping business. And this could literally mean the difference between having like twice the amount of people call, because you will get people clicking on it, but your photos will dictate whether they call you or not. And you need to be leveraging your brand and professional photos here. This is where all that stuff comes into play. So because it's a first impression that they have of you, it will dictate whether they call. So they're going to you need to ask yourself, are your photos blurry, messy, and low quality? And is it just like the iPhone photo of just like the work that's like in progress and doesn't look good? If that's the case, then what image are you sending to potential clients? Or are all the photos you take professionally, taken, clean, tidy, show quality work? That says something else about your business. So here's like a good example, professional photo, nice backyard, it's completed work, it's clean, there's no like mess, there's no like piles of dirt, there's no like guys working, this is what people want to see. And they're going to assume good stuff about your business. This is like an example, like a bad one. Like, it's just like work in progress photos. It's not really professional. It's hard to really trust this. It doesn't look trustworthy or appealing. And the low amount of reviews makes it look even more suspicious. So it's no surprise that this person has more reviews and likely gets a lot more business. All right. So that's everything you need to do for the Google business profile. You need to just continuously get more reviews, add more photos, respond to every review. The more and more you do this, the higher and higher you will rank in your city. Now we need to plan out all the pages that we need to make on the page. So I'm going to explain quickly what a keyword is, just so we're all on the same page, because what the hell is a keyword? So a keyword is what people type into Google whenever they're looking for something. So if I search for home renovation Kingston, this is one keyword. And then all of these variations of just how to say something the same or different are just different keywords, right? So the goal is to not have desert tree landscape show up for every possible keyword out there in the world. We just want to show up for the keywords that generate the money, which is the right keywords. So the whole point of keyword research is to just find what are these keywords that I want desert tree landscape to show up for that will bring the money. And I do this by figuring out what are all the services that desert tree landscape offers and what are all the locations. And then I need to create a page for each combination. So let me break that down even more. So to also understand this, we need to understand something called search intent. So search intent is about understanding what people are looking for whenever they search for something on Google. So sometimes different keywords give the same Google results. So for example, landscaping Las Vegas and Las Vegas landscaping company, these are two technically different keywords because like it's different variations, but they mean the same thing to Google. So if you search both of these keywords, however, the result on Google is almost identical. Maybe it's a shift in positioning, but the results, like the companies that it's showing, are the exact same. So this tells us because the companies that it's showing are the exact same, it's showing almost the same results, that means I only need to make one page targeting both of these keywords because the intent is the same. So this is the result for landscaping Las Vegas. It's showing cacti, Yelp, Centerpoint, and whatnot. And then if I search for Las Vegas landscaping company, it's showing me the same thing. So I'm saying this because a lot of people make the mistake of making one page targeting Las Vegas landscaping company, and then they make another page targeting landscaping Las Vegas. You're having two pages compete for the same intent, and now you're confusing Google because Google's asking for one page because it's only showing the same results, and you're providing two pages and you're making Google pick which one of the two pages it needs to rank. Does that make sense? So you need to just pick one. Pick one page and have it go for both of these keywords because the intent is the same. You're making a page for every intent out there, not for every keyword. And you know if the intent is the same, if the results are the same. Right? So if it shows the same results on Google, then you need to just make one page. However, a different service is like Lawn Care Las Vegas. Lawn Care Las Vegas, this is a different intent. So because it's a different intent, it shows different results. So that means if I want to show up here as well, I need to make a specific Lawn Care Las Vegas page, right? So let's say Desert Tree Landscape provides both landscaping and lawn care. So I need to create a page for both landscaping Las Vegas and lawn care Las Vegas. So why is the system like this? It's like this because Google loves specific pages that help people find exactly what they're looking for. They want to show the closest thing to what the person is searching for. But if your website just has one page that tries to target all different intents, you're never going to have one page that shows up for landscaping and lawn care and commercial landscaping and all the other stuff. Google will just pick one service, likely just lawn care, and just show only your page for that. It won't even show your page for all these other ones because you're trying to have a one-page show for too many intents. That's not how it's going to work. And to give you an example, the company that ranks first, Cacti, you'll see that if you scroll under our services, they have a page for every single service because you want to make it extremely clear that, hey, Google, I want to rank for landscape design. So I'm going to make a whole specific page talking just about landscape and design in Las Vegas. So Google's likely going to favor this page to show up for landscape and design in Las Vegas versus someone's homepage that also talks about 50 different services, right? Same thing with plant care or weed control. All these pages are made with a purpose and you need to do the exact same thing. So let's map out all the services. So let's assume that Desert Tree Landscape offers all of these services: landscaping maintenance, irrigation, design, preventative plant cleanups, all this. So now that we listed all the services, now you also need to think about where they offer these services as well. So let's think of all the locations. So let's map out and think of all the locations and sub-locations within Las Vegas that are just 1 hour away from the city center. So we need to make a page for each location as well. So there's this prompt. I'm going to run this right here. So I'm going to take this prompt and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in right here. And then I'm just going to enter Las Vegas right here. Cool. Just going to give it a second. You're going to see now it's giving me a list of all the locations. So Sunrise Manor, Moapa Valley, Henderson, Boulder City. So this is giving me a whole list of locations, which is really good. So now I take these locations and then I create something called the keyword map. So this row here, I have all the services. And then here I have all the locations. So in that prompt, it showed me Summerlin, Boulder City, Henderson. So now I need to make a page for landscaping Las Vegas. Now I need to make a page for landscaping Summerlin. Now I need to make for landscaping Boulder City, right? And I need to make a page for all this because whenever I search for Summerlin Landscaping Company, so Summerlin Landscaping Company, right? I'm going to get specific pages talking about landscaping companies in Summerlin. So because these specific pages exist and someone's already competing with this keyword, then I need to make my own specific page to show up here as well, right? That's how this works. So the rule of thumb when it comes to how hard it'll be to rank, when the location is much smaller and there's less competition, it's going to be easier to rank. So there's less people in general searching for Summerlin landscaping company compared to Las Vegas. So because that's the case, then it's going to be easier for me to rank. However, Las Vegas is much tougher, so it's going to take a lot longer. It's going to require a lot more work to rank it for there. One other caveat is that your homepage is often your strongest page. That means that trying to rank for a keyword with your homepage is much easier when trying to rank for a subpage. So if you notice here, landscaping Las Vegas, we chose this as a homepage. And when I search Las Vegas landscaping company, right, you're going to see that the majority of the pages here are homepages. Like this is a homepage, this is a homepage, this is a homepage. Me, like as a company that's coming up, trying to compete with these companies with a subpage is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Like very, very difficult. So if I'm seeing on the search results that most people are using homepages, that tells me that I should probably use my homepage to target that as well. But if you saw here for Summerlin, so if I search Summerlin landscaping company, you see this company has a Summerlin page. This company is ranking for their homepage, so it's a bit harder to compete with them. But because I don't see as many homepages, then I know that I have a chance to rank here with a subpage, right? Cool. So now I have my map. I have my map of all the pages that I need to make. Now I need to create an optimized content for each page, because now the question is, what am I going to put on all these pages, right? And this is super important because Google ranks the pages that have the most helpful and relevant information about a topic. So why does the length of the content matter? And that's because Google wants to show users the page that answers all of the user's question. In this case, someone who's looking for a landscaping company in Las Vegas. So let's say you are Google and you had to pick between two pages to rank for landscaping Las Vegas, you know? This is the good example and this is the bad example. So let's look at the good example. Let's just analyze this together. So they have a homepage. They got a nice brand of a team, lots of trust. They say explicitly what they do, Las Vegas Landscaping Company. Nice blurb here describing what they do, what makes them different, why I should choose them, different services for me to just look at, testimonials, you know, what they actually can do for you, more talk about their services, and again, why to choose them with pricing, which gives me more context as a potential customer. Again, just more information about why them, more pricing as well, gives me more context, more services, more recent projects that I can view. You know, it's a lot of content. So if I likely have any question here, I can likely find it. Let's compare that to the bad example. If you're Google, would you rank this? You know, there's no faces, there's no text. It just says Nevada. It doesn't say anything about landscaping. Like, you know, there's no header that says landscaping. Would you rank this? You wouldn't rank this because you don't know what the page is about compared to this, right? So we need to start thinking like Google. Even this one, bad example number 2. Las Vegas backyards, we do front yards too. It just has a small bit of text about their services, about us, and then that's it. You know, that's not enough context to Google. You need to make it extremely stupidly clear to Google what you do, your services, why you do them. You know, that's why Google doesn't rank this page, because it doesn't know what you're talking about. It's obviously going to favor this one because it's more confident in what it should rank for compared to these two, right? If there's no context of what it should rank for, then why would Google rank you for anything? All right. So let's think about how we should structure this page so that we can start creating the content for it. So we've analyzed and tested tons of service pages, and this is the best in driving the most leads. So we're going to have the navigation at the top, and then you're going to have your H1, which is the main keyword. So this is going to be landscaping company Nevada. And then you're going to have any differentiating factors. Maybe it's how many years you've been in business. Maybe it's how many projects you've done. Maybe you've done over 20,000 projects. Maybe you have 200 reviews on Yelp. Anything that makes you different, just try to say something that no one else can say. And then if you have a high quality image of your work and team, put in the background, put on the side here. This does really, really, really well. You want to show some testimonials. Then you want to show some service details about what you do, or you can have a grid of all your services. For a landscaping company, if you're like a hardscaper and you do like patios and stuff, we recommend showing the gallery as high up as possible. You want to give people a glimpse of what you do. You want people to know that you are legit, like you do the professional work. Then you want to talk about your process if you can, talk more about your services. Sometimes you can have a blurb about locations. You can have frequently asked questions. This is where you can add in a lot of the keywords that Google wants to see. It's very easy to add it in the FAQ. And then a contact form and then the footer. So you're going to see that this company cacti, landscapes, just a lot of the things that we mentioned. They have the hero right here. They have their service blurb. They have a list of all their services. They have testimonials. It's just like a slightly different order. More stuff about what they do for you. So I don't really like these just because this is a lot of text. I'd rather put this in the FAQ so that it's easily collapsible. You know, the FAQ you can open and expand, you can open and close. So it doesn't take up a lot of visual space on the website. The more you make someone scroll, the less likely that they're going to see everything on the page, right? Why choose us? You know, I would probably replace this with a process so people know what the process is. Packages is good. If you can add pricing, it always goes a long way. Talk about projects, so this helps people look good. And a lot more text. Videos can sometimes slow it down a lot. You see, like my laptop is glitching a little bit here, right? So that is how we should structure it. Okay, so now you know what the service page should look like. Now we should say what text should we put on these pages. So the best way to do this is to model your content on the pages that are already showing up for landscaping Las Vegas. So there's a bunch of tools that you can use for this. You can use MarketMuse, you can use ClearScope, Surfer SEO. And what these tools do is they analyze how many words the top pages have, and they're going to suggest you topics and keywords that you should include in your content. So we use Surfer SEO. So here's a demo. So I'm going to open this up. So this is a blank content editor to rank for Las Vegas landscaping company, and you're going to see right here. I'm going to just close this guideline. So I'm going to see here. It's going to give me a guideline. So I should write between 1,300 to 1,500 words. And these are all the topics that I should mention to rank for this. I should mention Las Vegas landscaping, obviously. I should talk about yard maintenance, maybe how like a sentence talk about that. Maybe I should talk about how we are low maintenance. Maybe we should talk about how we help with the desert climate, whatever we need, right? We should mention all of these topics. You don't want to think of it as like I need to explicitly say this word. Think of it as I need to mention this idea in a sentence or two. And usually towards the bottom, it's very easy to add these topics in the FAQ section, right? So we got that squared away. If you don't want to buy Surfer, you can also use ChatGPT instead of those paid tools. And basically what you can do is you can just have it do the same thing. If you do use ChatGPT to write the content, try to give it as much context about your business as much as possible. You know, you don't want to just copy paste AI generic text. You want to put in text from ChatGPT that is all about you, right? So here's a prompt that you can use. I'm just going to go through this slowly. If you want to extract the words and topics to write about, you have to insert the content of your competitors. And then here is what you can use to write the content if you use that prompt. I'm just going to go through this slowly. You could just pause and copy it. So to give context of how Surfer works again, if I go back to this really good example and I just copy all the text, and then I just paste it in here, it's going to give me a score. And you see the score is now 71 out of 100. So it makes sense why these guys rank, because they have a really good score. They literally have around 1,700 words, and they mention almost all of these topics, and they rank, right? But if I started removing some of these paragraphs, like why choose us, and just delete this, like let's say I don't want this section anymore, delete, you're going to see my score is now dropping as I put less text. This is literally how Google sees your pages. If I delete this one too, boom, it just keeps going down. If I replace all the text about their services, it just goes down, down, down. And this is what your page looks like in the eyes of Google as I just remove text. So you need to give Google as much context as possible, right? I just keep deleting, it just goes down. So your score is probably somewhere around here just because you think having a few sections is all you need to tell Google what you do. But that's not the case. You need to look at your competitors, see what they're doing. You want to work backwards from what's already working. So if they have 2,000 words and they mention these topics in their ranking, likely if you do the same thing, you'll rank too. All right. So other things to check when making pages. So you're thinking like, okay, I just write enough words on a page and that's it. No, it's kind of just a start. To make sure your page is ranked on Google, you need to take care of a few technical things as well. So the first thing, which is the easiest, is you need to make sure that your page is indexable. So for Google to rank your page, you need to give Google permission to see it. If you don't give them permission, then they're not going to rank you. This is called indexing the page. If your page is not indexed, Google will not show it in the search results because you literally told Google don't view this page. So the easiest way to check this is there's a Chrome extension called the Detailed SEO. So you get this Detailed SEO Chrome extension, just download it, super cool. And then what you can do is you can just open up any page. You press on this plugin right here, and then it tells you if it's indexable or not. So this one is indexable. Cool. So this one's squared away. I can cross this off the list. Next is checking my page speed. So if your page loads too slow, visitors and Google won't like it. So just ask yourself, when was the last time you waited over 5 seconds for a website to load? And the answer is probably never, because everyone is impatient and they would rather leave your website and click on the next website than wait 5 seconds, right? So Google will know if people do not spend time on your website, and they will place it lower on the Google search results. So the easiest way to test speed is this tool right here. It's called page speed. And what you can do is you take any URL right here and you can put in page speed. You can press analyze, and you'll have to wait a few minutes to just see the full score. So I'll just wait. All right. So for desktop, they got a 91, really good. And then for mobile, not as high, 52. So there's probably more ways to improve this right here. And it literally says what to do to improve it. If you have a developer on your team, you can probably work with them to try to fix these up. But again, makes sense. These guys rank #1 and they have a relatively fast website. Figures, right? And if one of your problems is large images, a lot of pages sometimes have uncompressed images. You can just easily fix that by using this. This is called an online image compressor. So just putting your images here, it'll compress them. That'll probably make them like 20% the size. You upload them again, now your pages load a lot faster. Next is you want to make sure your page is mobile friendly. So most people use just their phones these days to find any company. So you need to make sure that your website looks amazing on mobile. So you need to test the website entirely on your phone. You know, don't try to skip this. Like, just go on your phone and test everything. Like, do the pages show correctly? Can you see all the images? Can you press on all the buttons? Is everything big enough that your parents would be able to read it? And is it simple and easy to read? And the biggest test is to just give the website to your mother or just someone older and literally just see how they interact with it. Like, what sections do they stop at? How do they interact with things? Do they actually know how to interact with stuff? You need to visualize this and see this for yourself, and you'll take notes so you can go back and then improve the website. If you're too lazy to do this, one shortcut is to see it quickly is you just right click on Chrome, press inspect, and then you can just go on this mobile view right here, and then you can kind of have a good idea of what it'll look like on mobile. You see like the menu changes right here. You can test to see if it works, but the best test is to just do it on your mobile device. Then you want to check for broken links. So a broken link is a link or a button on your page that doesn't work and takes people to the wrong place. So it leads to a bad user experience, and Google doesn't like that. So there's this plugin called Check My Links. So Chrome extension Check My Links. Go here, you download it, and then you can go to a page like this, and then you just press on the button right here, Check My Links, and then it's gonna look at every link and see if it's good or not. So you can see all of these links are green, meaning that it takes the user to the right page. So when I click on Learn More, it takes me to the Learn More page. It doesn't just take me to a broken page that looks like this. If it took me to a page that looks like this, then this is really bad. This is considered a broken link. But this is good. All the pages are squared away. All right. Then we need to add the keywords in the right places. So this is the page title, meta description, and H1. So let's go back to this example. So if I use that detailed SEO Chrome extension, it's going to show me a lot of good stuff. It's going to show me the page title. So here we mentioned Las Vegas landscaping. Great. Then there's a meta description. I need to mention Las Vegas Landscaping Company again. And we do. Great. Then you can go to headings right here. And then you'll see we should only have one H1. And we do. This is great. And then the main H1 should mention landscaping Las Vegas. In this case, it doesn't. So we failed this one, right? And then we should have other H2s that mention it as well, and some do. So the one thing here is I'll just make sure the H1 says landscaping Las Vegas. Cool. Then you want to avoid orphan pages. So this means to internally link on the page. So an orphan page is the page that's not linked or clicked anywhere on your website. And if visitors can't get to a specific page just by clicking around, then it's an orphan page and Google can't rank it, right? So Google only ranks pages that are linked somewhere on your website. So if you remember, there was a ton of pages that we had to make for Desert Tree Landscape. We had to make all these, and it's really hard to fit these on the top of the menu, like it's so many pages. How am I gonna fit that? The easiest way is to just have a button on the footer that just says locations, and then this page has all your location pages. So here's a good example that I always use. It's called Senso Design, and if you scroll to the bottom, they have a service area page. So it's not in the main menu here because they don't really care about people seeing it. They just have a link to this page right here. And then once you're here, then you can see all of the location pages. So you should do this as well. You can just have your core service pages right here, but then for all your other locations, just put them in this page right here. And this is how we keep everything linked together. If there's a page just floating, not linked anywhere, not accessible by clicking through the website, Google's not going to rank it. All right. So we're almost there. We created optimized content. We checked off the checklist. We know what pages. We optimized the Google Business Profile. So once you've published all your service pages, you might notice a nice initial jump in rankings like this. You may jump from literally nothing to like 13th, 22nd, and these are pretty big jumps, and the easier the competition, the higher you'll initially jump. But that is just a start. To get to the top and stay there, you need to build authority, and that is through backlinks. So let's go through this. So what on earth is a backlink? A backlink is a vote from another website. So when one website adds a link to your website, it is a signal to Google that they trust your website. So this is an example of a backlink. This is a news website, and they talked about some restaurants, and then in that they linked out to the website of the restaurant right here. So they linked out to it, and Google sees this and they recognize this because Google knows that this page exists, and they recognize that CTV News basically trusted this restaurant enough to link to their website. And Google trusts this website because it's a news website and it's been around for a long time. So that means it has high authority. So if Google trusts this news website and this news website trusted the restaurant enough to link to their website, then that means that Google should probably trust this website a little bit more because they already trusted CTV News. So now Google trusts the restaurant a little bit more, it will rank it higher on Google. And this is how people in general get shown higher on Google. You have more popular, higher authority websites that already show up on Google for a lot of stuff. They just link to your website, and now Google sees you as someone who's being vouched by these people, by these websites, so then it trusts you a little bit more, pushes you higher up on the search rankings. Here's another illustration. So this is just a reputable website. Let's say they have a blog and they mention your website. Someone clicks on this, takes them to your website. They have a high domain authority. You don't have as high, but because you got a link from a high domain authority, your domain authority now goes up this much. And because your domain authority goes up this much, now you show up higher on Google. And it's a step by step. So again, when you get links from high domain authority websites like this, your own domain authority goes up. And the higher your domain authority, the more you seem trustworthy to Google, the higher you'll rank. So for example, Forbes is like a super high, everyone knows Forbes. They got a domain rating of 94 out of 100 on Ahrefs. There's Ahrefs and SEMrush. These are two different SEO tools. Each SEO tool has their own scale of authority. So let's go through this example. So I pulled up this other example of this website that's not really ranking high at all. And I'm going to use this tool called Ahrefs. And I'm going to put in their website right here. So I have this tool called Ahrefs. I'm going to take the URL of this company right here, and I'm just going to paste it in. And you're going to see that it gives me a DR score. This stands for domain rating, and it has a score of 7, right? So let me go to the keyword explorer right here, and I'm just going to search landscaping company, Las Vegas. And then it's going to show me that this has a keyword difficulty of 27, has a search volume of 100. And if I scroll down, I'm going to see all the search results. So if you remember that same company, Cacti Landscape, they have a domain rating of 27. So 27 is obviously a lot bigger than just 7. So you're going to see the trend that the higher the domain rating, the higher they show up on Google. Then the next company, 11. Then the next company, 3. Then the next company, 8. Then 8. Then 11. Then 41. So, VIP is not bad. They're at 7. They probably just need to fix their page, fix all the content on their page, then maybe they'll show up high. But if you want to be like the number one top dog, you gotta work your way up to this, right? So we know that to increase the domain rating, we need to just get more backlinks. So if I own this company, VIP, Landscaping, and Lawn Care, I know I need more backlinks now. So how do I find these backlinks? So I can go here, and then I can click on Cacti Landscape, and then just go to Overview, right? So now I see, his domain ratings. I can see here. So Ahrefs is really cool because it allows me to see what they rank for as well. So I can see, their organic keywords. I can see where they show up on Google. I can see all of their pages. So once I open this, I see landscape in Las Vegas. I already know they rank number 2. But then I see other pages. So they have a landscaping maintenance page, or they also rank for landscaping maintenance number 2 as well. And as I scroll down, I'm going to see more and more different keywords. So they have commercial landscaping Las Vegas. They rank number 3, right? So this is really helpful for me as a business owner to see what my competitors are showing up for. And this gives me ideas of what I want to show up for as well. Because if they're showing up for commercial and I do commercial, then I want to show up for commercial as well. So maybe I need to make a page for that, right? So this is super helpful. But what's more important for me is to understand the backlinks. So we already know we need more backlinks. So we have a domain rating of 7. They have 27. I can just try to see their backlinks and just try to acquire theirs. So I can see they have 305 backlinks, but you're gonna see a lot of them are like spam. Like, Ahrefs even marks it as spam. Like this, if you open up this website, this literally looks like spam, right? I don't want. So they have a link pointing to their website from this, but this doesn't really count. Like it's just spammy. So Ahrefs has a nice non-spammy links filter. So I'm just gonna apply that. And to make this even smaller, I only care about the do follow links. So there we go. So now there's 174 groups of links. So now we cleaned it up a little bit. And then we can just start going through this. So this is SNWA. And this is the Southern Nevada Water Authority. And, my competitor got listed here. So maybe I can contact this company and contact them and say, hey, I saw you listed out a few landscapers. Could we get featured as well? Maybe there's a small fee. It's probably worth it. And you can get your website featured here. And then as you just go through, you're just going to see more and more opportunities. This has been there, dump that. Never heard of this blog in my life, but they have 6 amazing tips for a clean backyard. And if I see landscape contractor, in here, they link out to my competitor. So I can contact these guys and be like, hey, I want to show up on this blog and I want to, show up. Can we write a blog and have you link out to my website? We may, again, ask for a small fee, a few $100, $50 maybe, but it's worth it. Trees.com, this looks like a huge website, so maybe I'm going to contact them and see if I can get featured. So it's a lot of, you have to mingle with people. You have to talk with people. You got to negotiate with people. You got to tell them what's in it for me, what's in it for them. And usually what's in it for them is money. And usually what's in it for you is backlinks, which will show you higher on Google, which will make you more money, right? This one, the Casa collections, just more and more opportunities. Like this is another blog. If it helped my competitor and they showed up here, I want the same thing. I want the same link. You can filter by domain rating. So this shows me the highest to lowest domain ratings. So if I click on this, so these are probably just like a bit spammy. Like you can just look at the name of the domain. If the name of the domain looks a bit weird, then I wouldn't really trust it. But this is like USA Today. They got a link from there, which is pretty big. Expertise.com, like that looks like a legit domain. cbinsights.com, like this is a directory, right? So this is different. Anything casino related or gambling related, you don't really want those things anyways. They're really, not trustworthy. But yeah, like you would just go through this, and mind you, this is just one competitor. Like I can go back to my keyword explorer, right? Keyword explorer. I can search for landscaping company Las Vegas again, and I can go through my second competitor, Center Point Landscaping. Maybe these guys have also some links as well. And it just becomes an endless cycle of writing down all the backlink opportunities, going through each website, finding contact information, try to negotiate something with them so that you can get featured there as well. It's a ton of work, though. It's a ton of work and it costs money. And just as a reminder of how backlinks are, if Desert Tree Landscape copied the exact same website as their competitor, those cacti guys, they still will not rank number 1 just because cacti has a domain rating of 27 and they have way more links. That's how important this is, right? That's pretty much it. Your job as a business owner is to just get more reviews, more photos, create more pages that are optimized and are SEO optimized, and get more backlinks. This is literally how you become number one, and this is how you always increase the distance between you and your competitors. These guys right here, Cacti Landscape, are in a great position. Why? Because the domain rating of them is 27, but their competitor is 11. That's a huge difference, and that's because when they got to number one, like you only need like a domain rating of 11 or 12 or 13 to show up number one. But they didn't stop there. They kept getting links. And now that makes it so much harder for the next guy to show up number one, because they really want to make sure that they get to number one and they stay there. And the only way to stay there is to just keep doing SEO and just keep getting more and more and more and more good links. That's how this works. So as long as the page is set up correctly and there's good content, the only thing you should be focusing on is just getting more links. Like that's like so important. More links, more reviews. And people don't follow this process because they don't know about all the stuff I told you. Like this took years of experience and thousands of dollars talking to coaches and consulting and stuff. So they either don't know, or it's because it's not easy. Like it takes literal time to find backlinks, pay for them, negotiate them, so on and so forth. So this is why people don't rank number one, essentially. So if you found this helpful, let me know in the comments. Tell me when you're great. I found this super useful. It's changed my life. I became number one on Google for landscaping Las Vegas, and now I make millions and millions of dollars a year, which is the whole goal of this. Or if you're too busy to do this, you can book a call with me and my team. We can do this all for you. We could go through your stuff, do a whole audit, see what's working, what's not, generate a plan, and then go through with it. So hope you found it useful. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I will see you guys later.